Good evening, everyone. I'm Rupa Korde, a faculty member of Flame University. I teach labor and gender economics. And on behalf of Flame University, I would like to welcome you all to join today's Connections webinar. Flame Universities that helps you to connect the dots beyond the boundaries of disciplines, invites everyone to look beyond the obvious, to inquire within, and to have conversations with others when facing this uncertainty in life during this COVID-19 crisis. Today, we'll take you through the story of labor market journalism at Flame. This whole story is about
Okay, hi everyone. Rupa ma'am's in Pune, and given the current weather conditions, I think we lost touch with her and she's reconnecting. So by the time she doesn't get back connection, I'll just go through the presentation for her. So the main aim of the presentation today is to go through the story of labor market journalism at Flame. And the story is about analyzing and visualizing data about, and in order to disseminate more labor market information, and such that our research reaches a larger audience in a more concise manner. And we will talk about the process from ideating to creating the output, from training to skill learning, as well as an internship at Flame, and the various aspects that are associated with it. And now back to Rupa ma'am because she's back on call.
I am sorry for this connection today. You guys know that there is a storm in this we're doing today is, like Swankita just told you, we'll take you through this journey. Today with us, we have Pauline Ose, who is the founder director of Wage Indicator Foundation. And Pauline has been a journalist all her life and has worked for various magazines, the Dutch Trade Union, and also as a freelancer before she set up Wage Indicator Foundation. Pauline's journey has been very, very interesting. From one website, Dutch website, Loonweiser, in 1999 to growing the foundation to 140 countries that it operates in today. We also have with us our Flame students, Swankita Arora and Ashita Ahuja. Both of them have been a very integral part of this journey. To tell you about what we do at Flame, so Flame, being a liberal arts university, offers a wide variety of courses to encourage its students to explore their interests. And Flame's USP has been to effectively adopt an interdisciplinary approach in academics and in experiential learning, and which is an integral part of its curriculum. We also equip our students with research-based analytical skills which are embedded in our courses. Thereby, we are able to incorporate practical and application-based methods in teaching and learning. Let me start this session by showing you the successes of some of our students who have presented their research papers at the international level. So you see here, Devansh presented his research paper on gender pay gaps at the prestigious biannual conference organized by the International Labour Organization in Geneva, Switzerland, and later in 2018 at ILERA in South Korea. You also see Ashini, who presented her gender research on glass ceiling at the University of Edinburgh. And later in 2019, Tejaswini also presented her research at the ILO on unpaid work of women. These are just few select examples where our students encouraged to write research paper as a part of their curriculum. And then students work in close association with faculty members to develop their research. But when I talk about this kind of success at global stage, trust me, it's not easy. Three factors have come together to enable this. First, the curriculum at FLAME is designed so that an intentional focus is created on research and supporting infrastructure is made available to the students at FLAME. For any good research output, good data is essential. And that's where Wage Indicator came in and made that necessary data available to our students. And not only they have made this data available, but also provided constant support for encouraging and showcasing the research being built on their data. Now, you would wonder what is Wage Indicator. I'd like to invite Pauline to tell us briefly about Wage Indicator. Pauline?
Thank you for giving me the floor, Rupa. Well, Wage Indicator started in, let's say 1999. It started so really in the beginning of internet. At that time, we found out that transparency was key. Transparency of wages, not only in the top of the labor market, not only for men, but also for women. That's why we started in the Netherlands. At that time, Loonwijzer, Wage Indicator, that was the first. And we started that together with Kea Tijdens from the University of Amsterdam, and a specialist in the labor market, especially gender labor market. So we started together, and we're still there together now in 140 countries. And if we work hard, then maybe end of the year, even 196 countries. Rupa.
Thank you, Pauline.
Yeah, so go ahead, Rupa.
Yeah, thank you. So given the success that we have had in the past with our students and the strong footing of Wage Indicator Foundation in the labor market research, we thought, why not create this particular aspect that we have found as a formal structure for repeating these successes at scale. And to collaborate with the Wage Indicator Foundation, our main objectives were, first, we found there was need to train more students for research at international level. There was also a need for creating opportunities in real life learning in a global context. Also to provide our students hands-on experience for working with databases and research software. So when I say a database or research, so for example, for Devansh's paper on gender pay gap in India, we looked at more than 150,000 observations from India only. And now think about this as 150,000 observations multiplied by 100 countries. What is the size of this database? We also thought that it was essential to prepare our students for multicultural environment and understand management styles across the globe, let's say working with different countries, working in different languages, and so on and so forth. And for this particular purpose, FLAME and Wage Indicator Foundation collaborated and agreed to set up Wage Indicator FLAME Research Lab. Now, I'll tell you briefly about what we do in what we did in this research lab in the last academic year. First, we conducted courses for FLAME students, one in data collection and analysis, where the students were taught each and every step right from data collection to the final output and presenting the final output on the data which they had collected. The other course that Wage Indicator did along with Flame was web and data journalism. In this, students were taught how to detect and target news for particular websites, how to create text, pictures, maps, charts with data, along with SEO. And all this was done using real data and real websites. So they were given real websites to work with. For this training, Wage Indicator team members traveled to Flame campus from various parts of the world and train them in their area of expertise like databases, labor laws, minimum wages, cost of living, and so on. In addition, this collaboration provided a unique opportunity for Flame students to work as interns for Wage Indicator, along with their academic commitments at Flame. So later on, Swankita and Ashita will talk about this more. And on completion of this internship successfully for one entire academic year, students were not only given an internship letter of recommendation, but also a diverse a buffet of skills. So when I talk about these skills, we wanted students to learn and experience the tool that they will be using in their working lives or for future research. And as you can see over here, we are training them on all the popular tools, platforms being used in the corporate world as well as in academia today, whether it's Stata, it's Tableau, the Google Analytics, and so on. So the students would look at Google Analytics, see which are the topics searched for most, and then we would start working on those topics and creating output for that. I will not talk much. It will be good to hear about what students did at the Flame lab. Let us hear about the experiences of our student interns at Wage Indicator Flame Research Lab, and we'll look at the output generated through this collaboration. So let me introduce Swankita Arora, who was the student general manager of the research lab. Swankita is a major in economics and recently graduated with a diploma in interdisciplinary studies and research. And during her undergraduate studies, she took projects that made her adapt with both qualitative and quantitative research methods. And most of her research endeavors explore questions at the intersection of development, gender, and labor. Further, her academic interest in the field of development economics she's been pursuing she'll be pursuing a master's degree at the Yale University in the coming fall. And through her academic pursuit, she hopes to join an international organization that assess and solve developmental problems. Swankita?
So hi everyone, I'm Swankita, and I'll just be walking you through the main activities that we did at Flame, at the research lab with Wage Indicator. So Wage Indicator's research lab gave students a unique opportunity to collaborate with an international organization and learn more about labor markets and develop new skills over the academic year. So given the work that Wage Indicator is already doing and the larger skill sets of our student body, there were 5 main groups that were formed with around 50 interns on campus. And these groups were working on different aspects of the labor market research. And they were namely data and web journalism, minimum wages and labor laws, data analysis, data visualization, and a little bit work was done on the National Poverty Line database as well. Each group of students was led by a student manager, and each group was also steered by a mentor from Wage Indicator's team, and all of them are based across different countries. So as you can see that we had Rupa ma'am here on campus. Other than that, we had professionals that have been working in the field and located in different parts of the countries, as Pauline's from Netherlands, then we had Iftikhar, who is from Pakistan, then we had Martin from Czech Republic, and Daniela from Italy. So this truly gave the interns a sense of an international working environment and interacting with the global team of Wage Indicator at different levels, and professors from these universities abroad gave them a unique opportunity to build these connections. And the number of students in each team varied from 2 to 15 members, and they all come from diverse backgrounds with majors in economics, mathematics, journalism, policy, but all driven towards being interested in the labor market and keen learners. So moving on to my responsibilities as the general manager was to work with Rupa ma'am and Pauline, as well as coordinate all the tasks that were being carried out by the 5 groups that I mentioned earlier. And also to ensure that the deadlines were being met, quality was up to the mark that Wage Indicator expects. And I also was able to monitor the website traffic and ad revenue for selected Wage Indicator websites. Along with me, we also had another management team that was a shadow of the management team at Wage Indicator, and we all worked closely with the interns and gave them regular training and feedback sessions. So a crucial part of the smooth functioning of the internship was to ensure that all the work was being done well, and there was a monitoring and evaluation structure in place before we started the internship. Each intern were given work targets that were expected to be met by them in the time frame that they were given. And at every step, the managers as well as the team at Wage Indicator provided them with guidance, support, regular quality check, and training if need be. And progress of not only an individual team member, but the group as a whole was taken into consideration. And on successful completion of the internship, each intern was given a letter of recommendation, as well as a certificate that was awarded to them. And apart from that, of course, they had multiple takeaways in the kind of learnings that they achieved over the year. Now I'll just briefly go over the different activities done by each group that I mentioned before. So the first group, which is the data visualization group, basically created visual stories, both in the form of short animated videos and infographics, like you can see on the screen right now. And students worked in a team of 2, and they worked right from the inception of a concept that they wanted to tackle on the labor market. So ideating and then researching and analyzing the data or the information that is available, to script writing and making the research more concise and also presentable and understandable to the general audience, as well as video editing and the creatives behind what is presented on your screen. The next group that we have is the web and data journalism group. This was one of the biggest teams that we had at the lab. And this team worked both on short as well as long form news headlines, along with some economic facts for around 34 English speaking and 21 French speaking language websites of Wage Indicator. So each week, the students were assigned 2 to 3 countries on a rotational basis, and they were expected to find interesting socioeconomic news which was centered around the labor market, write the copy, make news links, as well as connect the news that they have written with a Wage Indicator database. So the team would receive regular feedback from their managers as well as mentors. The mentors also conducted a few writing workshops and researching workshops to better train the students. And the students did pick up a lot of Google Analytics and SEO skills in the process. And owing to the regular work that the news group did, the websites did receive more visits as well as responses for the online surveys. The next group that we had was the labor law and minimum wage group. This group consisted of around 14 members who worked on updating the labor laws for around 45 countries. And they did so by researching and comparing the laws in order to update the Decent Work Check of 2019. So each student was assigned a particular country for an assignment, and this enabled them to better understand the labor laws in one country and delve deeper into that. The last team that we have is the data analysis team, and my co-panelist Ashita who also happens to be the manager of that team, will walk you through the activities that they did there. Coming to some personal takeaways from the internship gave me an insight on the world of research as well as the labor market, and also understanding how important it is to not only do research, but also make sure that the findings are understandable to the general audience. And having previously worked with age indicator databases for my coursework, this internship did give me an opportunity to understand how much work goes behind what is presented to us on the internet. And managing over 50 interns did help me improve my managerial skills and did inculcate in me a sense of responsibility and accountability. It also improved my time management skills, as this internship was something that we had to juggle with along with our academic demands in college. And this internship allowed me to build professional connections and being mentored by some of the best people from amazing universities around the world. And I believe that these connections will go a long way as I proceed in my academic and professional life. Further, given that I was coordinating with these professionals across the world, I was able to adapt to different working styles and also understand different managerial methods. And also the whole process made us a little more accustomed to the whole work from home virtual environment with so many back and forth emails and weekly Skype calls that today's job market is really demanding of us. Now I'd like Ashita to take it forward. Thank you.
So I will briefly introduce Ashita. Ashita was heading the data analysis group of the lab, and she just graduated with major in applied mathematics and a minor in economics. She has enrolled herself in the Flame Scholars Program with the aim to further now to pursue her interest in the field of mathematics with a special focus on statistics, data science, and artificial intelligence. She's previously worked on research projects such as predicting the rate of increase of HIV infections in the most affected countries in the world and finding the most appropriate intervention strategies for the same. She wishes to continue leveraging the power of data, but of course, not only limited to the fields of healthcare, business, education, and finance. Her future plans include pursuing a master's degree in statistics or operation research from Canada. Ashita, over to you. Ashita, unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you, Rupa ma'am, for the introduction. So throughout the course of the internship, 10 members of the data analysis team worked in teams of 2 on a variety of data sets managed by the wage indicator team. So as you can see on the screen, they were the wage indicator salary survey data, salary check data, minimum wages database, living wages database, and website traffic data. Now, while the student interns did stem from quantitative backgrounds, it was for most of them the first time that they were working with data. And hence, there were training sessions on statistical software for them, organized for them. We focused on software such as Stata, SPSS, and Tableau. So the first 1 to 2 sessions involved getting the students familiar with the interface of the software and the basic commands. So that happened with the help of hands-on assignments. The students grasped important skills of data cleaning and pre-processing, and at the same time, they got more at ease with the software. Now, each and every step of the assignments was checked and timely feedback was given to ensure correctness and understanding. Once the team was ready, we started the generation of outputs which could potentially be displayed on the wage indicator website for the larger audience. Now, for the purpose of this internship, we focused on basic descriptive exploratory analysis and not more in-depth statistical analysis, because that would have required more knowledge of stats and a longer period of time. So I'll be running you through the procedure we adhered to, all the way from beginning with a raw idea to developing a full-fledged output that is visually appealing and user interactive. So ideas for the output almost always came from the data we were provided with by the wage indicator team, unless wage indicator had some specific requirement that had to be fulfilled. Now, before assigning topics to the team members, it was very important for the team managers to perform some data exploration, so that the raw ideas that we initially came up with could be fine-tuned and we could verify the feasibility of the analysis. So this usually involved cleaning of the data and running cross-tabulations to identify patterns that could be further worked upon and highlighted by the team. Now, once that was done, the topics were assigned to team members and the relevant data sets were shared with them. Now, we wanted the team to to think beyond the topics that were assigned to them. And in order to promote autonomy, they were given the freedom to fine-tune the topics as and when they discovered more interesting relationships between the variables. Now, no matter how intricate the analysis or how good the analysis we perform, it would not have any value if it was not communicated to the target audience in an appropriate manner. So this is where we use Tableau for enhancing the experience of data visualization. And we use its functionalities to their maximum potential by curating stories, by also forming dashboards when they were more suited. Now, we always prioritize user interactivity and comprehensibility. The outputs once formed were then sent to Wage Indicator after ensuring that all the stylebook requirements of Wage Indicator were met. And then after the changes suggested by Wage Indicator, the outputs were finalized and the scripts were embedded in Wage Indicator's website. Now I'll be running you through one of the outputs created by the team. So here on the screen, you can see links to all the outputs created by the data analysis team. Let me take you through one. Give me a few moments. I hope this is visible. Yeah, so what you see on the screen is an example of a story created on Tableau. The boxes above are called captions, and they help one navigate through the story. So this study focuses on data from Wage Indicator Salary Check Survey 2018 to bring to the forefront variation in employee satisfaction with pay across countries. And to delve deeper into the factors that could affect satisfaction with pay, the study focused on variables such as gender, firm size, supervisory position, and job promotion. So as from this page, each of the variables that I mentioned above are explored further. So as you can see, clicking upon any particular country here and hovering upon any particular category allows the user to extract the information required very easily. So in this case, it's the percentage of total number of respondents who are satisfied, dissatisfied, highly satisfied, etc. with their pay. And yeah, I'd like to show you one more. Yeah, here it is. So now here, you can see that the impact of having a supervisory position on satisfaction with pay is explored across countries. And what is special about this page is that the user can investigate this impact across gender and firm sizes. So for example, if I want to investigate the impact of satisfaction with pay, the impact on satisfaction with pay for females in firms of size greater than 5,000, for example, I can do it this way. Yeah. This is a little about the output. I would encourage you to go through all the links to understand more about what we've done. Now coming to my takeaways from this internship. So through this internship, I obviously learned how to effectively manage and coordinate team activities. I realized that while providing frequent feedback, timely feedback to my team members was important, and also demanding changes was important, I had to do it in a way that did not overwork the students. So in this way, I learned to encourage my team and to keep them motivated throughout the internship. I also got the opportunity to enhance my Tableau skills and experiment with functionalities that I would have otherwise probably not even used. And lastly, but not the least, I learned how to manage my time efficiently, as I also had academic deadlines to adhere to at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashita. We will now talk to Pauline and know more about her part of the story. So this was a story from Flame point of view. we also want to know what was Pauline's feeling about this whole lab and about her experiences. Pauline, are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. So, Pauline, can you? So, what we'll do is this will be like a question answer session.
Mhm.
So, what you can do is you can post your questions in the Q&A part. I will pick up questions from them, and Pauline or I will answer those questions, or anyone on the panel can also choose to answer. So Pauline, let's start. And can you tell us why did you decide to have an internship program for university students? What was the motivation behind that?
Okay, there's a clear-cut motivation. There are many people around the world who want to work with Wage Indicator and many interns. But together with Flame, we could design a program where we had big groups of interns, of 50, 55 interns. Now, currently, I have 25 interns. And if you have a group of interns, then they will not drown in our huge team around the world. Then you can create together with them, let's say, a proper process of working together and give them the feeling, well, this is how it's going in a real company or in real life. So it is because it was an option to have a larger group.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you say this internship program, what were your main reasons for choosing Flame University for this partnership?
It's very simple. We knew Flame, but we knew Flame through the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad. We work already with Ahmedabad since 2006 when we started in India with paycheck.in. And since being in Ahmedabad and meeting people from Flame as well, so then step by step we came to meet Rupa. We work already for many years with Rupa. So then you step by step, you develop a program. You can't develop a program in a minute. You have to trust each other.
Right. And I believe that you were here at Flame campus for 3 weeks last year, setting up the lab, training students. Can you tell us your experience at Flame, about Flame or students or courses, whatever you'd like to tell us?
Well, what to say, a lovely environment, but everybody knows that, I think. What I would say, and that is from a Dutch point of view, actually quite interesting, that we were expecting that the students were a bit, silent, not with such a big mouth. But as soon as we met them, they were not afraid to talk and to argue with us together. And I must say, I love that. They really talk and they speak up. They're not afraid to discuss. And it makes it lovely. So they're, they act as equals around the world, and that is, it's lovely to see. And it doesn't matter when you're just 19 or 20, you have to learn, and you keep on learning. So nice students.
Right. And how has your experience been with Flame students, the 55 interns that we had for this academic year for Wage Indicator?
Well, in the end, of course, in the end, we have a board, and the board will say, well, was this cost effective, this whole process of having so many interns? And then you can't say exactly this intern was doing that and that was doing that. I would say in general, what the interns bring our organization is, funny enough, in innovation, where we innovate ongoing. But this group, by having their questions ongoing, it's like you say, okay, it's a good point what you make, and then you want to do it. Thanks to them, our skills in working with videos has highly improved, and led apart Tableau. Tableau, I think we are now beating everybody with Tableau. Basically, thanks to that, we were training the students in Flame. And obviously, by training, you learn much more than by reading a book. In the end, very beneficial because of the nice learning environment.
Okay. And what advantages did you see of having student interns to do this job instead of hiring professionals? I mean, you could have hired any professional you wanted.
I would say let's be quite precise in it. what the interns are doing and what somebody who works for us is doing is a bit different because the interns are there for a short term, 2 months or 6 months, 7 months, and people who work for Wage Indicator, once they come, they never leave. They come and we test them out the first couple of months, and after that we say, well, you might be a real Wage Indicator, and then you stay. But these are individuals. So that's different. And the interns, they do a task which is cool, nice. It gives you a lot of creativity. We together, we don't have the time to do it, but we think it's very needed to do. That's it. If you see what we're doing now, but like what the news group has been doing, a great job, lovely for let's say 70 websites. So it's very appealing, the type of work they then do, and we can't do it them ourselves, and they learn a lot.
All right. And what has been the feedback from the Wage Indicator team across the globe, from Karen from South Africa, from Professor Kia, from Daniela from Italy? What has been their feedback about the interns?
Well, there is as tough as everybody else is all the time. It's only Karen from South Africa. She is very, very happy with the groups of new students each time. I think it's because she's a very good manager as well. So she's trained. She loves it. She loves to do the work together with them. Okay. The others are more critical, way more critical. They say, well, it's good that we help these interns out, that they make a new step in the world, but we could do without. So some are tough, but well, isn't that life?
Yeah, sure.
It's good that they're not all sweet to the students. Some are very critical.
True. And I believe that you have recruited 25 FLAME students for the summer internship. And what are they working on right now, and how is your experience with them?
Well, there's one group, I think it's a group of 12 students at the moment, and they are collecting, it's exciting as news. They're collecting price data from web shops, food web shops around the world, whether it's Gambia or Colombia or whatever country, small, big, and they collect, well, but also in other languages, whether it's French or Arabic or Russian, and they found out already now that you have, of course, international food web shops like Carrefour or so. You have national ones, you have regional ones, but you also have very small food web shops where you, with WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, you order your food and somebody comes and bring it, maybe even on the bike. That type of price information we needed for our cost of living database. We have the largest in the world with cost of living, and because of COVID, we would like to know what prices are doing at the moment. So together with this whole group, we work on collecting data. We work on writing an academic article. We work on a big tableau together. So it's, I must say, it's a very exciting journey together.
Right. Pauline, there are a lot of questions dropping in, so maybe we'll answer a few questions and then move ahead. So there's a question on how do they decide on a topic to do research? Is it anything that children would like to do, or there's a range of topics they have to stick to, because many of them were about minimum wage? Swankita, can you answer this question? Because we found at on this. Swankita, would you like to take this up?
Yeah, so most of the databases that Wage Indicator has is around wages, as well as work environment and things like that, basically questions about the labor market in itself. So the interns were encouraged to ask questions in relation to the labor market, and they were not particularly in just minimum wages, but also satisfaction with pay or the kind of work environment that they have. As Ashita mentioned, one of their studies was on satisfaction with pay and position in a firm. So the research, of course, is not limited to just minimum wages, but to general questions in labor economics. And how do they decide on research topics? It's a collaborative process. So sometimes it depends on what the data that we have is and what kind of questions that we can ask or are important questions to ask. And sometimes it can be demand driven on what the team at Wage Indicator wants us to analyze. So it works both ways. And it's a collaborative process.
Thank you, Swankita. There's next question. Do you have collaboration with Mumbai University? No, not yet. There's one more question about what background is required for the internship. So I'll tell you briefly about the students. So for this internship, in the last academic year, we had 55 students. And these students were from all the years. So first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. And students came from diverse backgrounds. So they came from applied math, they came from economics, public policy, journalism, and all these different courses and the interdisciplinary teaching that we have, it all builds together when we are actually working on something like this. So it's not limited to the background. So if you're a FLAME student and even if you're a first year student, you will be put in the group of your interest, and depending on your skill set and what training we can give, tasks were assigned. There's someone asking about duration for the internship. So for this particular research lab program, we have focused on the academic year. So it is for 1 academic year, because that's how we'll be able to be with students. But FLAME students are also doing the summer internship program with Pauline like just mentioned. There is a question on data visualization. I will ask Ashita to answer that. She is the expert in data visualization. So Ashita, can you answer this question? How to learn data visualization and couple of resources and how to get it?
Hi. Yeah. So I'll talk about my personal experience. How to learn the data visualization. So that can't be done in a few days for sure. I started my data visualization process with Microsoft Excel. And while I was making dashboards, interactive dashboards on Microsoft Excel, I realized that there's so much more that can be done in in fewer steps in a much easier manner if I use more powerful software. And that's when I started doing some research, and I came across Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, etc. So how I started my journey of learning Tableau was through an online educational platform, which is Udemy. So I went through, I completed an entire course on Tableau. So when I joined Wage Indicator internship, I realized that even that course was not enough, because without hands-on problem solving, without hands-on data sets to work on, you really cannot get that data visualization experience or learning. So yeah, I would suggest you to start off by getting the skill set, acquiring the skill set, but it's very important to implement those skills to practice, get data sets from Kaggle, practice data visualization. That's how you're going to get it. Thanks.
Thank you, Ashita. So the next question is about how does one, in which year of the program does one get to do the internship? It's for all the years.
Yeah.
Open for all the students. It's open for all the years and all disciplines as well. The next question, I think Ashita already answered that question. There's a question on how is the market going to be affected post-COVID. So I know Pauline is doing a lot of work right now in working conditions, etc. During COVID, not only post-COVID, and across countries. Pauline, would you like to tell us about it?
Yes, look, if I would be able to explain you what the labor market will do in the coming couple of years, then I would be a billionaire. I think nobody knows, because nobody knows how long it will take. But what we see, because we started for, let's say, for employees, workers, and small companies, a huge survey worldwide. It's now in 140 countries, that survey, and it's daily updated with data about how people perceive COVID in their country, let's say in relation to the labor market, in relation to protection when they work, etc. And on that basis of that survey, just go and see it at wageeducator.org. You see that people are extremely afraid. And many people, especially in poorer countries, are losing their job right now already. So it has a major effect. But on the other side, on the other side, obviously, when you're good in data, when you're good in data visualization, when you're good in doing stuff like this in Zoom, we all can tell you and predict you that it will be more needed than anything else. So some parts of the labor market will stay and will grow, and others will not. That's what we can see. In general, I can say that Wage Indicator at the moment lasts almost 3 months now. We have a hell of a lot of work. Yeah, people come to us because we're quite experienced in working from home, working remote, and fixing all stuff very fast, where others were pretty slow in the beginning because it was sick or had all kind of other problems. And so that's Wage Indicator and COVID, I would say. Rupa?
Yes,
Yeah?
sorry, my connection was slightly shaky. Thank you, Pauline. The next question is about what about the informal sector? There are various things that Wage Indicator works on. So salary survey in India caters only to the formal sector, but for other countries it is both formal and informal sector. When we look at the informal sector, so when we're talking about minimum wage database or when we're looking at collective bargaining agreements, this all covers your informal sector as well. So the research is not limited only to formal sector, it is both formal and informal sector. There is a question on do students need to take a break here from their regular academic studies for this internship? No, so the whole idea of having this lab and designing this internship program was that students can work for Wage Indicator during their with their academic commitment. So there is no need to take break for this. Plain students work while they are studying and they allocate their time efficiently. So Swankita and Ashita will tell you. So Swankita, can you tell us briefly how you would allocate your time while working on this internship and working on your dissertation and working on your coursework?
So of course we have classes that run through the day and there are assignments and work and academic deadlines that you have to meet. But if you've committed to some other work, it is also important to be doing that. So sometimes it would get difficult in juggling between things, but I think you do manage, if you're committed to the work enough and you're motivated enough to do it, you do manage to get things done. Also, I think the managers did ensure that the students were not overburdened with the kind of work. So we would make sure the deadlines were not close to exam weeks and term end deadlines and all, so that academics was not affected as well as the quality of the work that we were doing at Wage Indicator was not affected. So it's not that hard to be able to juggle between the two.
And Wage Indicator works for labor market. They also took care of student holidays and weekends. So it's not as you're thinking, but yes, there is a lot of work. There is a question on where is this located, in Mumbai or Pune? So it's located at Pune at Pune at Flame University. There's a question on which sectors are most common for interns to take up for data analysis. Ashita did mention about this. So a lot of analysis depends on two major things. One is what data is available, how it is available and what can be done with it. And second, and the most important one, what wage indicator wants from us. So that if there are specific needs that this output is needed for wage indicator, we would work along together on this to create that output. But for any output, you have to understand that it's data driven. So without data, you cannot have output. So a lot of it depends on this particular aspect. So there's no compulsion to do a particular sector, but if data is not there on that sector, you really can't do anything about it. Does wage indicator recruit interns directly? Pauline will answer that question.
No, well, yes, we get a flood of CVs from interns, and we select. I must say, we select on the basis of what we really need. So we can't have 50 journalists or 100 journalists or so. So we make a nice spread, and people who have a perfect CV, we invite them easier than others. So and I must say, we're critical. But also keen to have nice groups, because to work with a group and a group manager in that group, that is I would say that's a unique case in this internship. So people can learn to manage, even when they're 20 or 21, they can learn to manage a very complex situation in let's say in a global setting. And that is, I think that's very unique. There are hardly any who get that opportunity to manage this group on all across languages, time zones. So that's very cool.
Thank you, Pauline. There is a question on, is there any major minor requirement to work on this type of internship, or it can be any? No, there's no major minor requirement. We at Flame and also at Wage Indicator believe that each student has some capacity, has some skill set which can be explored, which
you should be smart.
Can train them. Yeah, you have to be smart, right?
Yes.
So no, there's no major minor requirement for that. So like I mentioned earlier, people, students from all disciplines were part of this internship: applied math, economics, psychology. There were also students working on French websites. I mean, we were working for 21 French language websites. So students were actually reading a material in French and writing news headlines for French websites. So I mean, the skills you come with, we can develop those skills further. The next question, I don't understand this question much. Will education sector be affected due to the pandemic? Will there be scope for online education for?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I also don't understand the question, which is the most demanding sector. So if you're still online, maybe you could elaborate on that question. There is one question on can any university students take up this internship? So this research lab that we have created, it's for Flame students. But like Pauline mentioned, if you're interested in internships, you can apply directly. If you have the skills, they will hire you. But this whole internship program is designed for Flame students.
Yeah.
Which sectors? So which sectors are common for interns to take up for data analysis? Like I mentioned, it is mainly based on what data is available and what is the need. So you have to understand that when you're working for someone, it's not always a choice that you have to do something or work on something. So for example, I would like to do a field survey right now on COVID patients. It's not possible for me to do it. But if Wage Data gives me that data about how COVID patients have suffered at the job, I can work on it. So it really depends on data. I mean, you don't have so many choices once you are dealing with data. This data aspect is slightly different from essay writing.
But I would say it's on the other side the same. I mean, we will not publish stories or data analysis which are really not useful. We reasonable know what our users of all our websites in all countries are looking for, So we present that and not something else. So it's not that you think, this is cool and I'm free to do it. No, it's there. Of course, we have 40 million users a year, so we serve them, and I think that's good. So it's demand driven.
The next question is, what majors are taken by data scientists, mathematics, statistics, or economics? I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand that question. There's a question on about, can I get, after the internship, can I get the best placement on industry? Placement really depends on your skill set. I don't know which placement you
Yeah,
are.
but I can say something about it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's say those people who have been working for Wage Indicator are extremely good in data visualization. I can tell you they get a job everywhere, really. And that's so high in demand at the moment. And if they learn to do it as such as that what users are looking for, then you're ready.
Yeah. Pauline, we are running out of time. So maybe we would like to, maybe one last question for you would be, where do you see this partnership in future? What do you think our next few years will look like?
What I hope at least that it continues like it does now. It's good for our team. Our team trains in training big groups of students as well, so it's very cool. In the same time, what I hope is that together with the students that in India and in the region, let's say so in India, in Pakistan, in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, in that region, that we might have, we have good websites there, but that will be much better, much more detailed, together with the students as well, because then you're not only working around the world, but you also work in your region. And it could be on data collection for prices and living wages. It could be on more analysis on the extreme complex minimum wages in India and how come with recommendations how to improve it. Well, there's more on Facebook pages. And I hope that there is more for it, but at least that we continue as we do now. I think it's we do a good job.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Pauline. So those who missed the earlier part of the webinar, a recording of this will be uploaded, and the slides that we presented along with all the links will also be available on the website. You can go through it. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. If you have questions, you can write to us anytime. Feel free to send in your questions and we'll answer them. You can also tune in for our next webinar, which is on lockdown and post-lockdown effects on psychological services. Thank you so much for joining. Have a very good evening.
Thank you.